What's going on, guys? Today we're going to do a tabletop review on the IRC-110 infrared camera by Amprobe. The guys at HVAC Shop Talk, Zach and Ralph, were kind enough to send this tool down to me to take a look at and do a little review, so really appreciate it, guys. And what we're going to do is kind of go through the features first, and then we'll turn things on and test the product out. So this is what you're going to see when you open the package. You're going to get a little wrist lanyard, obviously the instruction manual, and the thermal camera itself. Now this camera is roughly about the same size as your standard point and shoot temperature guns. It uses 3 AA batteries, which are in this compartment right here, held in by a little Phillips screw. Has a nice large display. The display is 1.25 inches wide by 1.5 inches tall. Has a cool little joystick on the front to navigate your different menus, your settings, all that good stuff. Here are your temperature thresholds, 14 degrees Fahrenheit to 932 degrees Fahrenheit, obviously your Celsius conversions. Your standard trigger, which this trigger on this particular tool works a little bit different than your standard point and shoot temperature guns. We'll get into that here shortly. And here you see the thermal imager itself, which is the center, and the tiny little hole up there is a standard camera. So we'll go ahead and turn this on. I went ahead and turned the lights off because it was obscuring the camera a little bit, so you couldn't see the display very well. But all you have to do to power it up is just hit this power button right here. Just hold it in for 2 seconds to turn it on, 2 seconds to turn it off, and it tells you that right there on the top. But this is what you're going to see, obviously. In front of us I have a small candle and just a little cup of ice just to get a little contrast for us while we're playing around with the tool. And first, what we're going to go over is the up and down feature. Essentially, like I said before, this thing has 2 cameras. It has a standard camera and it has a thermal imager. So what it's going to do is each time you hit either the up or down button, it's going to give you either more thermal image and less standard camera image, depending on how many times you push the button. It does it in increments of 25%. So, for instance, if we go all the way to the beginning, this is just going to be, and it is a color image actually. It appears black and white for some reason on here, but it's just my camera acting a little crazy looking into this other display. But this is just going to be a standard camera image. There's no thermal imaging involved. So if you hit the up button once, it's going to add 25% of the thermal imaging superimposed on top of the standard image. If you hit it again, that's going to give you 50%, 75%, and then 100% thermal image. So in this particular view, it takes out the standard camera, so you really can't see definition or detail. You're only seeing heat or cold signatures. And again, you can do the down button as well and go back through. Just depends on what you want to do. And you have a little hamburger menu here. Again, apologize because the lights are turned out. But if you click to the left, it's going to go through all your different options. You have different color palettes you can choose from, Fahrenheit, Celsius. You can take the little crosshairs off the screen if you choose. Also, if I can get this to focus, it has a timer option. Right now I have it set for 5 minutes. All that's going to do is just shut this camera off. Its default setting is 1 minute. So if you're messing around with the camera, you forget to turn it off, it'll go ahead and cut off after the designated time. And you have your back button right here, which is going to bring you back to the standard thermal image. Pretty simple. Obviously, it gives you a little battery life up there in your temperature. Also, it has the trigger feature that we mentioned before. What that's going to do is just act like a hold. So if you wanted to look at this candle over here and get an image, you would just click that. You can see hold pops up on the screen and we can use that image. Now it doesn't save images or Bluetooth images or anything like that, but it's very simple to click the hold, pull out your camera, take a picture of it on your phone and store that image. So I haven't had any problems with that at all. It works really well. This is definitely a pretty sweet little tool. So you can toss this in your bag. You don't have to worry about hooking it up to a phone or anything like that. Pretty much throw it in your bag and you're good to go. Definitely feels like it's built well. I don't think that you would have any problems tossing this in a bag, worrying about it getting hurt. The only thing I'd really worry about tossing it in a bag would be scratching up the screen or something like that. But very cool little tool. I am going to include a bunch of pictures just so you guys can get an idea of how clear the screen is. Obviously, the ones that plug into your phone, they're using the display on your phone, so they're a lot more crisp. The resolution is a lot higher. But this camera, for what it does, it has a really nice display. I haven't had any issues with it. Sweet little camera. If you're in the market for an affordable thermal imaging camera, all inclusive, where you don't need a smartphone or anything like that, this is definitely one to be considered. So thanks again to Zach and Ralph for sending this down to me. Make sure you check out HVAC Shop Talk Podcast. Also, if you'd like to win one of these, I believe Zach and Ralph still have a few of these that they're giving away. So make sure you tune into Fan Friday on HVAC Shop Talk's YouTube page. Also on, I believe they post it in their Facebook group as well. Make sure you tune in and you might be able to win yourself one of these or any number of other giveaways that they have. They got tons of stuff going on over there. It's really fun hanging out with all the guys and just chatting in the comments. But there you go. Thanks again for watching. Thanks to Zach and Ralph for sending this out to me. Stay tuned for the next review. Like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.